All right, so in this video I have a random pair of sneakers that I wanted to try out, and this is not a gimmick pair. It looks like it's going to be, but it's not. And this is a Skechers Go Run Glide Step Max. Mouthful of stuff, lots of crazy looks to the box here, but even a crazier looking shoe. So here we have it. If you haven't been around my channel for a while, I did a review on Skechers like Burst back in the day, years and years ago, and then I also did a video on some HyperBurst the first year I believe it was around. But now they've evolved that a couple different ways over, and in this video we wanted to look at these guys right here. It looks like a Max Cushion shoe. And you know, it's crazy to think that this is like something that could actually be like decent, but it's very, very surprising. So let's go ahead and get into the video of this Skechers sneaker right here. What is going on, guys? Hes here. Hopefully having a good day out there. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys are new to my channel and you guys enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. And if you guys want to buy a pair of these, I will link them in the description, which is very, very weird to be saying. I actually bought these from Skechers, and I was just really interested in seeing what the evolved technology has been since my first initial review of the HyperBurst a couple years ago, which was a really, really surprisingly good soft pair of sneakers. It doesn't usually make it in my top 10 lists for comfort sneakers, although honestly, rightfully so, it should. It's just hard for me to be like, yeah, go buy Skechers again. They're just a notorious company for ripping off other companies, copying technology like lookalikes of like Nike Air and so on. But then from their running division, they actually have legitimate stuff going on here. So very, very weird, but HyperBurst is much, much better than the regular Burst. Burst was basically a midsole that was textured to look like Adidas Boost. It was absolutely terrible. It was terrible on feet. Everything about it was terrible. But then you have HyperBurst, and HyperBurst is actually really quite impressive stuff. And from what I understand, it's like a small shrunk down material that is kind of, in a sense, pressure cooked, and then it expands and it makes what you have here. It's a really kind of crazy sounding process, but what you get, the end result, is actually really soft, squishy, and it is it's quite nice on feet, which is again crazy to say. But this one, the midsole was so wild. I was like, this looks like the 2 Chainz joints a little bit. But like the Versace ones that Salehi Bembury did like years ago, which if you didn't know, Salehi was actually the one that created those. But the midsole is nuts. And at first I was like, it looks, you know, like fake cutouts. But as you could see, like there's actually cutouts through the shoe. You could see all the way through. And it actually makes it kind of a nice ride. They also did something else that was really interesting. And you could see the cutout back here in the heel. It kind of has this weird little glide feel to it, so you feel like you're squishing down and then gliding forward, and it's actually a pretty genius like cutout, the way that they actually integrated that. You also do have Goodyear traction, which is something we've seen. Obviously Adidas Ultra Boost uses Continental rubber, and then other ones use Goodyear and other brands for the traction on the shoes. This one just has a toe and then a heel of Goodyear traction. The middle section is just directly on that HyperBurst material, which does look like it gets a little bit of wear here and there. I've worn these a little bit and it looks a little bit worn, but honestly, it's pretty durable stuff. It's almost like Nike React, where it looked really, really like it was going to be destroyed, but over time, it actually was quite durable. Now, the upper is pretty terrible looking. There's nothing fancy, nothing flashy about it. It's just a mesh upper. Hyperfused material around the laces, kind of a simple, sleek design, if you will, not any layers or anything like that. There's some variations in the mesh, so you have larger knit mesh over the toe box where there's obviously more ventilation needed, and then also on the tongue there's larger ventilation. The tongue has very minimal padding, but honestly it's pretty comfortable, and then you do get a nice amount of padding around the heel cup of the shoe, which is actually pretty decent. Now I got a men's 9.5, which is my true to size, and it fit me just fine. I would recommend true to size, even for wide feet boys like myself. Like the true to size was definitely the way to go. The first thing off the bat though, like I thought for sure this shoe was just gonna be a big ugly gimmick because of how terribly weird the midsole looked. Anytime you have such a flashy looking midsole like this, you have to question, is this a gimmick or is it actually something that can be comfortable and actually have benefits? And the funny thing is, I can say it's not a gimmick. It's actually the way that they integrated the midsole. It's actually really, really smart. As I said, gliding motion at the bottom is good. These are going to be shoes that you could wear for walking. They could be used for running as well. Obviously, they're running sneakers, but walking casual is something that you could do. I wouldn't necessarily lift weights or anything like that in these, or side to side motion, but the heel toe transition and just overall walking around in these shoes, I was actually really impressed. I went to Costco in these shoes. I took my kid to swim class in these shoes. Wasn't embarrassed at all. But you know, it was one of those things where I was just very interested in the technology. It says glide step on the side, so you got to get that vibe when you're walking in the shoes. But just my initial thoughts, like not pulling them out, comparing them side to side, which I probably should have done. But I get the same sort of vibes as like a Clifton 8 vibe from these, maybe even the more max stack cushioning on them. It's just a really big stack of cushion, and it's actually a pretty nice feel underfoot. It still pains me to like go, yeah, these are good. You should maybe check these out. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna lie about it. Like it's a decent product, and what they're creating is actually pretty impressive. Like I didn't expect to be able to go like, yeah, this is actually pretty decent. It feels good on feet. It's comfortable, and if you did a blind test on feet and you try these on next to some other sneaker companies out there, these ones would actually be pretty tough competition because the feel on feet is pretty good. Also, the price point isn't anything too crazy. I think they're 150s max, but like you can get them on sale for like as low as like 109 or something like that. But yeah, it's all in all, it's a pretty decent ride for your feet. There's a couple things on the box that it says. So there is an air-cooled Goga Mat on the inside, breathable cushioned insole. I like their gimmicky branding though in the gimmicky box. For some reason, it's actually nice to be able to see some of the features of a shoe. Glide step designed to improve natural momentum. HyperBurst midsole for energy return and high rebound performance. Goodyear rubber technology for enhanced traction, stability, and durability. And I love that it says the Go Run Glide Step Max for max cushioning. And then it says warning, warning, extreme comfort. I just, it's super cheesy, but at the same time, I'm like, they actually deliver pretty well. And as somebody that like reviews a lot of top tier like comfort sneakers, this is pretty impressive for what they're able to offer. Now, would you be caught dead in a pair of Skechers or not? Whether or not you're a sneaker guy or just looking for comfort, I mean, that's obviously a personal choice, and I'll leave that to you guys. But I will tell you that HyperBurst is pretty cool, and they do have some other running sneakers on the market. And actually, if you've tried other Skechers sneakers, leave a comment and let me know what you think about the other models of the HyperBurst. This one had a max stack of cushion here, so I was very interested in that. But they do have other ones that have a thinner stack, and definitely like the $200 race ready ones that they have with the carbon. I think they even have carbon fiber in the midsole, which is nuts. So this is actually a really surprising shoe. I would say overall comfort, I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's a really pretty comfortable shoe. The overall build quality, like of the upper and the cushioning, I mean, it's a nice comfortable collar, and overall it's pretty generic though. I mean, I'd probably give it like a 6 if I had to rate it. It's just not very good. I haven't wore these in like the rain and stuff, so I don't know about the traction of this. If you guys have had a good or bad experience with the traction, drop a comment for other people so they could see it. I mean, overall, if it wasn't a Skechers, I'd probably rate them higher, but the midsole technology is solid. It's 7.5 at least. Like it's really good, and it's crazy. Crazy again to say it. What would it take for you to get a pair of these on feet? Like, what's the price point for you guys to be like, oh, I'm interested in trying that out? I'm curious to see what you guys say. But anyway, I spent like $100+ on these to show you guys for this video. So if you guys enjoyed it and it was insightful to you, drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button if you guys are interested in checking out the rest of my videos. But thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Again, if you guys want to buy a pair of these, I'll link them in the description. I'll also leave some links to some of the competition, other things that I think that you would like if you like these sneakers, like the Hoka Bondi or the Clifton 8. I'll link those in the description. This is also kind of in the New Balance More V3 line right there as well. So very, very similar kind of feel to those. I'd prefer the New Balance More V3s over these just in general, just because of the look of the shoe and the overall feel. But again, these are quite impressive. Anyway, hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day. Thanks for stopping by and watching. And hopefully we'll see you back for some more sneaker videos. All right, peace guys.